Welcome back to Influenced by Tiff. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about who I am and why you should care. So, I'm going to be digging into a little bit more about my brand, me, my businesses, and why I'm here and why you should also be here too. All right, so I started my very first business, which is a marketing agency, in 2018. And it did not start off as a marketing agency. It actually started off as a general virtual assistant business. And I was doing everything possible under the name of virtual administration, checking emails, managing calendars, scheduling calls, like you name it, I did it. And I probably did that for the first year of my business. And I was honestly just trying to get a feel and a footing for like what I wanted to do in that industry under the term a virtual assistant. And so in 2019, I was in a Facebook group, and it was actually the Facebook group that I got into virtual assisting with. My business coach at the time did a lot of Facebook Lives, and so one of her clients, or actually she was their client, came in to do a chat with us about copywriting. And I was like, wow, that is absolutely something I could probably get into. And it makes a lot of sense because I was currently a teacher. I was teaching, I had taught for probably 13 years prior to that. That was what I did when I graduated from college. But in college, I was a communications major, and all of my prior work experience had been in public relations. And so doing PR type journalistic work was my background. And then I got into a program called Teach for America, and I went to grad school to get a master's in education while I was teaching, and then the career stuck, right? A lot of people use Teach for America to kind of as a stepping stool to their next level. So whether that's going to law school or medical school or whatever, or they move up into the different ranks in terms of education. But I taught for a very long time. At the end of my teaching career, it was year 16. So, and I had done everything from be a teacher leader to be a content specialist to be a curriculum specialist. So I even taught out of the country for a year. So put that master's to good use and had a lot of experience, but I felt like I wasn't really using my communications degree. Now, if you know anything about education, teachers don't just teach. We're kind of like Jill or Jax of all trades, and we do lots of different things and have lots of different skills that are transferable to many different industries and sectors. And so when I heard this copywriting presentation, I was like, oh, this is perfect. I definitely could do this because I do have a background in public relations and journalism, which is a different type of writing, but it's still writing. And, I've been a teacher for this long, teaching children how to write. So sounds easy, right? And so I signed up for this course and went and became a copywriter. Now, when I first started in 2019, I was doing content writing, so writing blogs and writing social media captions and things like that. And in 2020, I decided to become even more specialized in this area and focus on sales and marketing writing for coaches. And so I was writing website copy, sales page copy, email copy, anything that dealt with the client's launch. So sometimes that did include their social media copy specifically for the launch of a new product or service. And then I did that for probably, 2 years. And then I started working with an agency that had e-commerce clients. And so still doing emails and things like that. But I really got into the e-com marketing industry and learned how to, develop my skills even further by writing for e-commerce businesses. And a lot of those businesses were in the beauty industry. And that kind of just like piqued my interest in beauty, right? And so beauty and fashion and kind of lifestyle. And all of the writing experience, honestly, has just like opened my eyes up to like different sectors, different businesses, different brands, different communities of people. And it's just been like a really unique way to kind of have like a global experience and like this like 21st learning experience, if you will. So I've been able to meet some really amazing people through my copywriting work and through my marketing work, and be introduced to some really like amazing brands. And in 2022, maybe, or 2021, I was like, I really love like the vibe of like influencing. And so I was asked by a company to become a collaborator with them. And this company, essentially, brands would partner with them and send them like products that they wanted to highlight. And the company would be responsible for getting like micro influencers to do that. And so the company would obviously pay the influencer. And so I did that for about a year, and actually, I think it was in 2020. So it probably was like 2020 until like 2022, maybe. And it was like just such a cool thing, right? So I got to experience new products, experience new brands as the user and the influencer rather than the writer. When I was writing about these brands and stuff, you kind of get to know the behind the scenes a little bit better, and like the mission and vision and values. And sometimes I'd be talking to the CEO or CEOs of the brand, and you just kind of like understand their why a little bit better. But so that was really cool. But then when I became an influencer and I'm trying out these products and using them, and then telling people to go buy them for themselves, that was an even deeper experience in learning about these brands, and seeing like how they actually affected my body and my day-to-day life. And so that just really made me excited about being a micro influencer, and sharing the things that I love with other people. And so that is essentially like my story and how I kind of got to where I am today. Now, I still do have a marketing company, but I do marketing consulting now. So I don't do any more like one-on-one like copywriting or marketing writing or anything like that. But I am, I guess, back on the teaching side of things, and in turn, just kind of like helping small businesses, new business owners kind of develop their business plan and take their plan from idea to launch, and then helping established business owners kind of refine their marketing, figure out where the holes are coming from, and kind of refining those areas with like new and improved marketing strategy, and putting those things into place so that they can grow and scale their businesses. So I love teaching. I think that I'm a forever teacher, and I might not always be teaching in a classroom, but I'm going to be teaching somewhere. So even when I was doing copywriting, it was super important for me to like leave my clients with something, right? So like, yes, they've hired me to write their emails or write their sales page or whatever, but I wanted to empower them to be able to understand the why behind certain things. Like, why did I use this subject line versus that one? Or why did I make your, homepage on your website this length instead of whatever length you thought it should be? And so I really like to educate my clients so that when I'm not there, or when I'm no longer working with them, or if they, choose to do this on their own, then they kind of know the why behind things, and they understand the reason and importance of certain things. And so always been teaching, and now it just looks differently, right, in terms of my marketing business. And I also feel like this channel is another extension of teaching. I'm sharing products that I love in the hopes that you would go and add them to your life to bring yourselves a little bit more joy and experience the things how I'm experiencing them. But I'm also teaching, right? I'm telling you about the products that I love, why I love them, how they work, and how they would be useful for you. So that is essentially my inspiration. And I think I have mentioned on a previous video that I'm a multiple business owner. So the marketing business is one. I also own a stationery brand, and that brand started in 2022. And I am a organization systems planning queen. Maybe too much, like a little bit of a control freak there. But I really had a tough time, which this will be probably a future episode, but I had a really tough time after my third child was born, and I suffered from postpartum depression and anxiety, and I really just felt kind of out of control. I needed a way to like organize my thoughts and my day to day. I've been a journaler forever and ever, probably since kindergarten. Whenever I learned how to write is when I started journaling. So that's always been super important to me. But developing a stationery brand, we sell planners, notebooks, sticky notes, and notepads, essentially everyday items to help you meet your goals and stay organized and plan out your day to day. And it was just super important for me to like create this brand because I know that I am like probably one of many who kind of falls off a little bit every once in a while and can really just use some practical tools. Now, I know some people really despise planners because they buy the planner, they fill it out from like January to March, and then it like collects dust for the rest of the year, which is why our planners are undated. You can stop and start at any time. But I also really just wanted to create some like everyday things. So I'm a sticky note person. I have like 1,000 sticky notes all over my desk at any time. And so I created some notepads that allow you to just kind of like take notes, tear it off as you go, and move on about your day. So I know that there are like several categories of people. There are like hardcore planners who need like a dated, book and all this stuff, time, slots, and everything. Then there's another category of folks who just kind of need places to brainstorm, jot down ideas, leave themselves, inspiration or take notes or whatever. And then there's another category of people who like to journal and take notes and kind of sit and reflect with themselves. And so our products cater to all of those people. And so all of that to just say like my inspiration and my origins have kind of brought me here. I started a podcast last year, and it's a lifestyle podcast. And, this channel was just birthed out of my love for sharing things that I love with others. Also my joy of teaching and my experience with being a micro influencer. So my vision and my values and my mission kind of all rally around like teaching and educating, but also helping people kind of live life on their own terms, or equipping people with the tools they need to live life on their own terms. And so that is my hope as I am sharing things that I love with you all, that you will be like, ooh, let me go get that so that I can kind of level up my life. And I also noticed like in terms of like challenges and triumphs that I'm not like a traditional influencer in terms of probably like experience and age. I am in the 40 plus club. And so, but that's just to show you that like age is not a thing, right? But I did notice that, a lot of like millennials they don't fall into this like influencer category. And so just like seeing that there was a lack of people my age in this industry, in this space. Also like Black women, Black creators are kind of few and far between. And you need like the popular Black creators and Black women creators are like super popular. They have like hundreds of thousands or millions or whatever of followers, and I wanted to come into this industry and start this channel because, like, I'm not the norm, right? So I don't have, some massive following yet. And I don't fit into the age category. I can't say yet because I'm not gonna go backwards. I'm not Benjamin Button, but yeah. So like that, those are some of the holes that I felt were missing in the industry, and I'm like, my story needs to be told. Like my voice is important, and I want to show up in a space where it's not necessarily the norm for me to show up in, because I can and I want to. So. That's that. And then just with my background and experience, I think whenever I'm like have been applying for jobs or, taking on new clients, and I'm kind of just looking back at all of my experience, because you probably wouldn't believe, but if you are not in the entrepreneur space, like some of these applications, if you will, for new clients are full on like corporate applications, and you're like, what? Why didn't you know all this? But anyway, I digress. So anyway, when I'm doing those things, I kind of just look back at all of my experiences, and I'm like, yo, the teacher in me is literally what sets me apart. And I think I had a coach tell me that once, like, the way you educate your audience and your clients is just like top tier. And I really feel like that is like your unique value proposition, and that kind of like sets you apart. And I think that's true, right? Like teaching, even though it was not the career that I had grown up planning to go into, my mother is an educator. My grandmother was an educator, and I was like, I don't want any parts of anybody's education, anything. But then here we were, like teaching for 16 years. So, but I do think that that's just like a gift that I have, and it's kind of ingrained in me to teach people. And like I said, it may not look traditional in terms of like being in a classroom teaching people, but the work that I do every day in my businesses and also on this channel, comes from the guys in the background of educating and teaching. And so, yeah, my hope again and my vision is that, this channel would introduce you to new products and new brands and new businesses that you can infuse into your everyday life, and that will bring you joy just as much as they bring me joy. And like I said earlier, when I started writing for different brands and being a micro influencer for different brands, it really just opened my eyes up to like, globally, just different practices, different business practices, different business models, different people, different products. And it really was just like an enlightening experience, and I want to give that to you as well. So thanks y'all for listening to my brand story, and I hope that you have a little bit more information about who I am and why I started this channel and why you should be subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Be sure to comment below, like this video, and share it with a friend. All right, till next time.